He's stumbling in like a drunk man. It's pitch black. We're all screaming. Suddenly, you get pelted in the head with an ice-cold orange.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast, or YouTube video if that's where you're watching. We got ugly sweaters on in the house. Look at this little baby Frankie. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see he has an ugly sweater on also. It's super cute. Davey's going to join the party here.
Oh, hello. Davey's in the house.
Welcome to the party.
Yes, the party is happening. If you hear some hiccups or grunts, it's probably me. If you hear a cry, it is probably Frankie. He has joined us in the studio, and
he just developed a nasty case of the hiccups, so.
Okay, guys, today we have kind of a fun topic to talk about. We're going to talk about holiday traditions. We're going to dive pretty deep into some funny crazy Christmas traditions that my family has that I had growing up, and some of April's lack of traditions she had growing up. I don't know.
I don't feel like we had anything that was like solid I could count on every single year we do that. I mean, maybe I'm just not realizing them, but I don't think we had any solid traditions. It was kind of just do whatever. Some years we did this, some years we do that. One thing I know we always did is we played in the snow for hours. Me and my siblings would make igloos, and I mean, it was just like, what kid doesn't play in the snow in Utah? So I don't really know if that was a tradition or just like one of our favorite things we did, but yeah.
I think I'm going to tell what Christmas was like when I grew up. We'll just dive right into that. That sound good?
Yeah. What kind of traditions did you guys have?
So, Christmas. Leading up to Christmas, one of the things I do remember doing, usually I don't think it was Christmas Eve, but it was very close to Christmas Eve. We would always, every year, you okay, buddy? Is he going to make it?
No, he's going to start screaming.
Okay, he's good. Okay, real quick. My Christmas traditions I want to talk about first. They're kind of funny, kind of crazy. The first one, we would always go caroling every year. We would visit all of our neighbors, and we would bring them homemade fudge, and none of the kids actually liked it at all, but we did it. I don't know why we didn't just refuse. I think kids used to think they could refuse their parents. Okay, I'm going to tell my funny, awesome, special Christmas tradition. It starts off Christmas Eve. As it starts to get dark outside, we start to listen to the bells outside. Audibly, we can hear Santa's bells getting closer and closer. Each time we hear them, we go outside, we hear them, and we sprint to the bed. We pick a bed. We're all getting in the same bed because that's where we will receive Old St. Nick. We wait in the bed. Nothing happens. We go out again. We hear the bells. Scream.
Run to the bed.
Run frantically.
Mind you, 15 years ago was the first time I heard all of this shenanigans. And let's just say it was very concerning.
What's crazy to me is, before I get into everything that happens, is Santa's visit is not the same for everybody. Or maybe they're just not listening. I don't know. Maybe they're all stuck inside watching a Christmas show and they don't hear Santa's bells, but the TV's off. We're listening for Santa's bells on Christmas Eve.
Well, and I was told when I was a kid, my mom told me that Santa wasn't real and that she wouldn't lie to us. And
that's ridiculous. Like,
I know.
Who puts all the presents under the tree?
I guess she wanted credit. I don't know. But like a lot of the time, maybe she would hide the presents after Santa brought them because we didn't celebrate Christmas a lot of the years growing up. And then when I got older, we started celebrating. But I remember I was like 8 and my mom was like, I don't lie to my children. There's no Santa. And I was like, and I went and told all my friends and the moms got really mad. And now Davey was even like, what? Of course there's Santa. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
So now I believe.
And sad.
I'm a believer now.
Welcome
But when
back.
I was a kid, I didn't believe in Santa.
April,
I
I'm
know.
sorry. You had a really sad childhood
As far as Santa Claus comes,
as far as Santa Claus comes. Everything else,
it was fine.
you guys, you guys turned out all right. I'll tell you that much.
We did.
Okay, back to my.
Okay,
It's Christmas Eve.
You're listening for bells.
We continue to hear
running.
the bells. This could happen 4, 5, 6 times, spanning over the space of 1 to 2 hours. It just goes on, and the bells seem to get louder and louder. And then, after one of the times, we're in the bed waiting, and all of a sudden, the lights go off in the entire house. Boom, in one motion.
That's not creepy at all.
No, it's exciting and frantic. And so lights go off. I remember one year and we've told the kids this story, and the kids always joke about it, that one year I had to have been really young, I hope, because.
Like Ender's age.
Hopefully even younger than that, because I'm urinating with my mom in the bathroom, which you don't help him urinate. So.
I would be in the room with him if he needed to go potty. Like, we share stalls. He's only 6.
I know, but you didn't need to help him. I don't know. She was in there. I was going pee, and the lights go off, and I think I was still unbuttoned going pee, and just pee is flying everywhere. She's trying to guide me. I'm peeing on her hands. Everything's going ape crazy.
And let's just say last week, Evie kept coming up to me saying, Mom, I want to see the video where Daddy pees on Grandma's hands. And I was like, sweetheart, that's not on camera.
It's not a video. There was nothing being filmed.
That's a story.
It's a story. Lights go off, and everybody's frantically trying to get into the same bed. And
the piano starts playing.
Piano starts playing in the background. No, kids are practicing their piano. That's great. So then we hear Santa, and he's giving a muffled, oh, oh, oh. And he actually pays us a personal visit on Christmas Eve. And I've heard some people he doesn't even do that to, which is crazy to me, because every Christmas Eve he would do like a personal visit. And how he had time to do that, I had no idea. So he comes stumbling in almost.
You want to hear my theory on it?
Yeah.
I think your mom and Santa had a little thing going on.
Okay, for all my.
Well, that explains it. He came to her house and no one else's. Just saying.
That does make sense, because whenever Santa would come and give us this personal visit on Christmas Eve, my dad wasn't there. He was shoveling snow. He was checking something on his computer,
How
rebooting
convenient.
it. He was always worried about, because the electricity would be shut off in the house. He was doing something. Oh, I have to go help a friend, got stuck in the snow, and I don't know.
I'm telling you. It's too much of a coincidence to be a coincidence.
I'm going to have to talk to my mom about that.
Mama O isn't as sweet as we thought she was. Just saying.
So he pays a personal visit. He's stumbling in like a drunk man. It's pitch black. We're all screaming. And suddenly you get pelted in the head with an ice cold orange. And they're just coming at you. Suddenly.
So Santa's being like a catapult of oranges?
They're just coming at you. I don't know.
Maybe the elves are throwing them?
Maybe he's got elves with him. There's oranges flying everywhere. You are taking cover. It's almost like a war zone. It is magical. It is intense.
I wouldn't say magical. Terrifying. The first couple times we did it, the baby's just crying. Zayd was like a year old.
Okay, hold on. We'll get to what's happening now in our lives.
I know, but I just want people to know, like, I was thrown into this family tradition from not growing up with having any Santa Claus. And all of a sudden, Santa's coming to my house making personal visits.
Well, and maybe Santa had to prepare me to make up for whatever happened to your mom. Maybe she was locking the doors, locking the chimney. I don't know. But
all I know is that I kind of have a crush on this Santa guy now.
Dang, Gina.
I'm just saying.
I'm sticking around.
He's throwing oranges at the kids, and he brings me presents now, so I like him.
Okay, so continuing with what happens on Christmas Eve is Santa comes, he's throwing oranges, there's bells being jiggled. Christmas Eve, Santa comes, he's throwing oranges, it's a war zone, it's intense, there's screaming, and he gives us one small present. After a little while, he kind of visits everybody, and then he disappears out of the room. The lights come back on, and we all get one present. We check ourselves for injuries, for bloody lips, and we all get the one present. Then we go set out our sock, and where we position it in the living room is where our presents will be delivered. So it's just a quick little pre-visit, and then he comes back after we go to sleep. But we have to go to sleep, and it's so hard because we're so excited. It's been this emotionally intense evening, and then we have to go to sleep. So we wake up, open everything on Christmas Eve or on Christmas morning, and it's just happy and fun. So that was our Christmas growing up.
And this happened every single year?
Every year.
Without fail?
No matter what. So luckily, when I got married, it was the same kind of thing in our family, even from when Zaid, our first Christmas together. Santa came stumbling in, muffled, ho, ho, ho's, bells ringing, and it has continued to be a tradition. And Zaid has been funny. He has worn armor at some points, and just he's ready for Santa. All the kids are ready for Santa.
They're scared, but they're excited at the same time.
Yeah, it's an... I can't remember if it was Roberta or Paola, our exchange students, how Santa visits them is they actually completely block off one of the rooms, and they can hear things happening, but they're not able to enter that room until Christmas morning. They're kind of just locked in a room in darkness.
That's Roberta.
Yeah, I think that was Roberta.
Or maybe it was Paola. I don't remember. I think it's Roberta.
So April, it was a big adjustment for her in our... when Santa came throwing oranges with new babies and stuff, but she's just learned to put a pillow over the baby, and you protect the littles, and women and children first. And I have actually missed the visit a few times. I actually
don't remember you ever making a visit.
No, I think there was some that I was there. Just the last few, I have been kind of like my dad. I just missed it, unfortunately.
Which I just realized I accused your mom of having an affair with Santa, and now I'm sitting here.
Oh, the pot's calling the kettle black.
Telling him I have a crush on Santa. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh,
but
yeah, go ahead.
Santa is real, you guys. He really does come. He throws oranges at our heads. The power goes off on our house, and we get presents.
And we hear the bells.
And we do hear the bells. So it happens.
You want to make my mom cry? Ask her about Santa's bells.
She can't even say the word Santa's bells without crying.
It's immediate tears.
Let's just say there's some almost near-death experience of a sibling involved in that story.
Yeah, something about one of her siblings was dying, and then if she could just touch Santa's bells, she knew she would be healed. And she touched his bells, and she was healed.
She got better. She wasn't immediately healed, but yeah. It's quite the story.
Ask if you meet my mom, Mama O.
Ask about the Christmas Santa's bells.
Ask her to say Christmas bells.
Oh, dear. But if you only knew, that's only the tip of the iceberg with these Orgills. They have traditions stacked upon traditions, stacked upon traditions. And you know what? I actually really love it. And I think it's super important. And I like that the kids have something that they can look forward to that's consistent, that they can count on.
Yeah, why do you think traditions are important or helpful in a family if you're able to do them? What do you think?
I just said why.
Just something to look forward to?
That normalcy and that excitement and something to look forward to. And it builds look at all your memories. You don't remember a lot of stuff all the time, but you remember these family traditions and the memories that you made during them. And I am I don't really remember much. But if you do it every single year consistently, I feel like it makes it more special. I don't know.
Well, and now all of a sudden there's this elf on the shelf. I don't know where he came from, but when I was little, there was zero elf on the shelf. And now he is tormenting our house. He's also doing some nice things, but he's just making a mess.
He's a good little elf. It's a girl.
He's making a mess. She's making a mess of things. She's stringing things around lights. Last year,
she didn't move at all.
She moved maybe one time and then stayed there and got thrown about. I think she was a fake last year or something. I don't know.
Well, this year she's on it.
She's on it every morning. The kids are so excited every
But
morning.
do you see how excited they get? It's worth it.
It's
Hashtag
amazing.
worth it.
Hashtag worth it.
And I never could remember to do anything when they were younger. But then the elf came, and you know what? Now it's fun.
Why do you have to remember?
I didn't do the fun things like the traditions because maybe I just didn't grow up with traditions. But the elf is helping us make traditions.
Yeah, so thank you, Elle.
Yeah, this is getting really awkward. Okay, so also another tradition that I have a love-hate relationship with in Davey's family is the Christmas jammies photo. Love Christmas matching jammies. That's the love part. Hate doing the photo. Oh, it's always just crazy, but then I love that we have it afterwards. We have from 2006 all the way to 2019. I'm in every one of those photos. It's so fun to look back on them.
Well, and I think that's the hard thing when you get married and you get further along, more and more kids, and all your siblings have more and more kids. When do you transition from the way you grew up to your own family's traditions and Christmas morning, Christmas things, like making that transition? Like eventually the jammies picture has to end. Like we've already come to that realization.
It's not even a matter of it having to end. It's just going to have to evolve because eventually your mom won't be able to make 150 pairs of pajamas even in a year.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge, and she would.
And she would. I mean, like if she were to, heaven forbid, pass away or just not be able to anymore, it's either going to be someone else picking up tradition up and keeping it alive, or it just dies out. So I feel like most of us someone's going to pick up the ball. And then that's where it's like, what traditions are you going to take from your childhood and keep in your own family? Because we could start it just with our own family and be like, oh, maybe I make, and I don't even care if I make, maybe I just buy matching pajamas, which I already do, but just taking a picture of the family together in matching pajamas, like that is our tradition now.
Well, and since everybody's gotten married and been adults, we've all done the sleepover at Grandma's house, and that's evolved too. We've done it at my house sometimes as the family gets bigger and bigger. All the grandkids that get older and older. Now they're starting to get married, so
not quite yet, but there's some that are 18. There's a couple that are adults, and eventually they're going to get married, and then they're going to want to go to Grandma's house, which is siblings. Like I think that's eventually going to be where it starts to and not be the same anymore.
Once the grandkids start to get married.
Yeah, but then that's where family reunions come to play, I think. Instead of doing the stuff on the holidays, then you just pick a different day during the year where everyone can still come because it's not a special day, and you make it a family reunion.
Yeah, and my mom's, her siblings, their family has been a good example of that. They have 13 siblings and like a zillion grandkids, and they make sure they celebrate all the holidays. Sometimes
the week before,
sometimes it's 3 months later. Christmas could be celebrated in January or February, but they get it done. They still get together. It's not always near the holiday. It usually is, but they've been able to stick with it with such a big family still. And Thanksgiving, I don't know, we kind of had to make some changes after another year of strange Thanksgiving, trying to make it, because what they do for Thanksgiving is every other year they do the big rent out the church, or reserve the church with all of my mom's siblings and 1 million kids. And a couple years ago we made it, and it was we missed all the food. We ended up
we were 30 minutes late because we were making all of the fruit cup for it, which was like a 4 times batch, which is a lot of chopping. And we got there 30 minutes late, and there wasn't any food left. So we had only fruit cup that we brought. So we were like, oh man, there's too many people, and there wasn't enough people bringing food, and it was on actual Thanksgiving. So then we ended up at Denny's.
We ate Thanksgiving dinner at Denny's 2 years ago.
I'm like, you know what? I feel like it's time for us to pull back from that tradition. Like, if they continue to do it, whatever. But as a family, we decided that we weren't going to be going to that specific event anymore. And I was like, they can do a family reunion on not an actual holiday, because we're going to take back that holiday and make it our own little family tradition.
We made that decision this year because this
Yeah.
year we went to April's family, and then I was like, "Hey, let's go try to make it over to that one." Then so we left early, and we didn't get to play games at her
Or help
family's
clean up
or
or
help clean
anything.
up. We just got out of there, and then it was all done at the other one at the church. So
then we
we're
ended
like,
up sitting at home.
which was nice too. We got to
It
spend
was, but I
time with
would
our
have
family.
preferred to finish up helping my sister clean and play a couple games there and we could have still come home and enjoyed the evening at home. But anyway, yeah, I think that we decided that we weren't going to try to make the giant Bueller Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day thing work for our family anymore.
So that's the challenge with traditions is you take the traditions of the husband that they grew up with, the traditions of the wife that they grew up with, and then mix those, but then also mixing it with traditions of, the family they grew up in and that are still happening now. So
ultimately, I think you have to, as a couple, decide what ones are the ones you're going to prioritize and keep alive, and the rest of them, it's okay to decide that's not working for our family anymore, because really the most important unit is your own family, and you have to take care of that first. But you also have to keep in mind how important family traditions are and not try to smosh out all of them. If you're just no more any family traditions, then that's totally probably not the right call. It's not cool, but I feel like this was a good choice.
Yeah, I feel good about it. So what we decided to do is just every other year, 1 year is my family, my siblings, and then the other year is her family, her siblings. And we'll just go back and forth, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say about traditions, or should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I don't have much to say about traditions. I like the ones that we have from mainly his family that we've adopted. And I do want to say one thing that we did growing up that it wasn't always consistent, but it's one thing I remember doing around the holidays that I loved was we would build gingerbread houses and we'd make the gingerbread ourselves. My mom would make, I remember we did it a couple times where we made a big mansion and rolled out the gingerbread and cut out the windows and put candy and made stained glass windows. And it was so much fun. And I've done that a couple times also. I don't do it every single year, but that's one thing I remember enjoying growing up. Building gingerbread houses. So,
all right, guys, that is our Christmas traditions. We'd love to hear from you guys. See what some of your favorite family traditions are. Come visit us on Instagram at Davey Orgill and at April Orgill. We'd love to hear from you. And we're going to wrap this one up. Happy holidays to you. We are continuing with our streak of weekly podcasts. So hopefully we can keep this tradition going because you guys have been loving it. We've been getting a great response from you guys, and we've been having a good time doing it too. Right?
yeah.
Okay. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.